Just this once.
We're here to talk about something other than France, on a subject broader than France. Yes, believe it or not, there is such a thing. This topic is Europe. True to form. Let's be frank. Let's face our people and our times. Just say those two words, European elections, so that the audience immediately starts to get bored, starts to yawn, zap to another scene or scroll. As they say, it's TikTok. Have you seen I Learned Well? Listen to what's being said around you. European elections, we don't get it. It doesn't mean a thing, it's useless. Europe, it's technocrats who despise us, then let's despise them. Let them fend for themselves. It's none of our business. Result, 1 in 2 European voters does not vote in the European elections. 1 French voter in 2 does not vote in the European elections. Well, me, I say to the watching public, right now, don't zap. Stay with us. You'll see. We're going to change the way you look at Europe and at these elections. Let's get started. Let's start with a simple question. What is Europe? 2,500 years ago, the Greeks had the excellent idea of inventing philosophy. From this moment on, the world will never be the same again. He'll be smart. With Aristotle, the human race enters the realm of wisdom. Aristotle writes, to know is to remember. So, let's not forget that without him and without the ancient Greeks, to the word sapiens would have remained this savage who spent most of his time beating his neighbor with a club. In Europe, and only in Europe, the birth of democracy, political debate, humanism. Europe is the birthplace of the desire to understand human existence in order to improve it. Europe was the birthplace of the scientific spirit. We are the civilization that brought humanity to adulthood. Glory to her. Glory to us. Centuries go by, the spark of clear Greek intelligence that our continent and this continent ours illuminate the world. If I had to draw up a list of all the European geniuses for 25 centuries, we'd still be there tomorrow morning. And since you didn't bring any sleeping bags, I'll make it quick. Alexander the Great, Julius Caesar, Charlemagne, Saint Augustin, Saint Louis, Saint Thomas d'Aquin, Joan of Arc, Rembrandt, Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, Bach, Mozart, Beethoven, Galileo, Copernic, Newton, Cervantes, Shakespeare, Dante, Molière, Racine, Napoleon, Balzac. You're right. Balzac, Hugo, Albert Einstein, Hannah Arendt, Winston Churchill, Charles de Gaulle, François Hollande. Oh no, sorry. It's weird. It's still weird. You found the intruder right away. You're actually quite good. Would you like some more? There are entire libraries of them, entire dictionaries, all these extraordinary spirits, dear friends, all these talented people that seem supernatural, and millions of others, yes, millions of others. Less famous but equally brilliant, this extraordinary crowd is Europe. That's us. Europe is a miracle. Oh, it doesn't look like much. The world's smallest continent wedged between Asia and the sea. Europe doesn't have the gigantic expanses of America, nor the teeming masses of Asia. Yet it is the beating heart of the human adventure. In just a few centuries, Europe invented everything. The monastery Gothic style, Gregorian chant, the bill of exchange, feudalism, the canon, printing, symphonic music, the compass, the steam engine, electricity, the internal combustion engine, the train, cinema, the plane. The list goes on. It's Europe that with its boats connected the world. It's Europe that with its hygiene rules, vaccines and medicines took care of the universe. It was Europe that separated the temporal from the spiritual. Europe invented the individual, emancipating it from clan and tribal law. Europe was the birthplace of the Industrial Revolution and the Enlightenment. And every time, there's a technical innovation. Intellectual, artistic, political, economic, scientific, was invented in some corner of Europe. And very often, my friends, that corner was called France. It's the whole continent that in just a few years made it his own. Europe is not a country, Europe is not a people or a nation, but it is one and the same civilization. Forged by Judeo-Christianity and the Greco-Roman spirit. Those who recognize themselves in this heritage, make it their own and want to perpetuate it, are Europeans. All those who do not recognize themselves in it are from a different civilization. And no other civilization has ever been so brilliant, just as decisive, as creative, as useful, as admirable as ours. No, none at all. And I say this with the utmost firmness to the wokes who hate the history of Europe. I'm telling all those dog punks who see the West as the ultimate evil. I tell them, grow up, read a few books, stop covering the Mona Lisa with tomato sauce, and thank God you were born here and not somewhere else. You are rude children who broke the beautiful toys we gave you. As the other guy would say, it's all about growing up. And speaking of children, my dear friends, let me tell you a beautiful thing about Europe. You know as well as I do that babies, when they're still in their mother's womb, babies can hear. Babies are able to hear not only their mother's voice, but also the environment around her. He hears his father's voice and the noises in the house. Long before he was born, sounds offer him his first discovery of the outside world. And what is very beautiful is that he can already hear the music. A fetus hears music. And scientists have launched a major study of reactions to this music. They discovered not only that fetuses love music because they react to it with facial expressions that indicate pleasure, but that's not all. Because fetuses have musical preferences. Yes, you can laugh, that's the truth. In the course of their research, these scientists discovered an amazing thing. In fact, to put it bluntly, quite extraordinary. there is a music, then the vast majority of fetuses, whatever their nationality, prefers to all others. It's classical music. And there's something even more incredible. Yes, you heard me right. 91% of future babies prefer one particular piece of classical music. 91%. But what music could be so beautiful as to be elected by future babies so unanimously and on the very first ballot, if I dare say so? This music, dear friends, here it is. Yes, this music is Mozart. Mozart, the most famous European musician in history, and above all, the planet. Mozart, the one described by all humanity as an absolute genius to the point that his talent is considered as inexplicable. To the point that even the most atheistic music lovers say that his music is divine. Mozart, gifted from infancy to the point where he was touring Europe at the age of 6. Mozart, the free artist par excellence. Mozart the generous, Mozart the insolent. Mozart the incorrigible, Mozart the unpredictable. Mozart the composer of Don Giovanni Magic Flute, of 70 symphonies, of the most beautiful of all recitals, of 1,000 melodies you know by heart, sometimes even without even knowing they're his. The Mozart miracle, that's the beauty, that's the good. This is Europe. That's our civilization. Here we are. That's what Europe is capable of, giving birth to a musician who turns babies upside down in the womb, bringing out the very first smile on the faces of embryos wherever they may come from. Chinese babies, African babies, Indian babies. Future babies have no culture, they don't know anything yet, but they do detect beauty, they like beauty, they love it. They don't vote for rap or lambada or Aya Nakamura. They vote for Mozart at 91%. We can all applaud together the great Mozart. What it tells us, what this phenomenon tells us, what all these melodies are telling us, to weep with sweetness even to be born, is that the beauty of Europe is not a concept, it's not an intellectual construct, no. Europe's superiority is not a political opinion. It comes from the heart and speaks to the heart. It comes from the depths of our souls, from the sky within us, and it speaks to humanity at its most essential, most important. Europe is a vital, carnal, emotional, fragile, skin-deep civilization. A civilization of the soul. Yes, Mozart proves us and babies confirm us. Our culture is quite simply prodigious. And it's her, my friends, it's her that we must defend. It is this love story between genius and life that we want to protect and pass on. No mission is more beautiful than ours. My friends, don't think I'm going astray, because my wonder is a form of vigilance. It calls us to combat. Yes, this is the miracle that the woke, the Islamists, the socialists, the bureaucrats, the technocrats, it's this miracle, our miracle, that they'll destroy if we let them. So don't let them. Don't let them. We pledge it. They will not deconstruct this unique treasure in space and in time. Don't let them replace Europe. Don't let them murder Mozart. Yes, we are proud to belong to this magnificent continent. And it's because we're so proud of Europe that we resent the European Union. The European Union has betrayed its mission. It no longer defends us, quite the contrary. It has become a continent with gaping borders and wide open doors. All of us here were lucky enough to be born on European soil. But today we have the misfortune to see in our lifetime a new specter rises on our continent. Yes, 1,000 times over, it is on European soil that today rises, the child of Stalin and Mohammed Islamoleftism. I was in London recently, and I was afraid for England. Yes, I was afraid for them, because the English are people so proud, so strong in the worst of times, my friends. This people is afraid. They watch themselves disappear in the mirror of Islam. They are living the same waking nightmare as we are, and they are paralyzed. This paralysis to the opponent that I noticed in London, you've seen it in the streets of your towns and villages. Our Italian friends here have experienced it by discovering gigantic pro-Palestinian demonstrations in their streets, as so many other Europeans are experiencing it. I can't help myself. I can't help it. To think that we, Europeans, have fought a lot in the past. To find out who would be the boss of the continent. Spain, France, Germany, England would prevail over all the others. And we did all this to finally hand over power to Islam. Is it worthy of our history? Is it worthy of what Europe is? The peril of Islamization is the major challenge of the coming century. Let's never forget this law. Only a free people can make a great nation. A submissive people to a foreign religion is no longer free. A people who look the other way in front of a religion called submission is no longer the French people. June 9th, your vote to Recon will say no, no and no, to the Islamization of Europe. No. No. Never. Not even in dreams, not even in nightmares. We refuse, in Latin, as the Christians say, non possumus. We can't be Muslims. We can't because we don't want to. We don't want to because we are who we are. We are not submissive. We don't bow down. We don't veil our women, our freedom, our opinions, or our greatness. We will reveal our soul, our heart, and our identity. We are going to show what Europe is all about. The great European submission will not take place. So now, I have to raise a sensitive subject. I know because I listen a lot. And because people speak frankly to me, that some on the right dream of leaving the European Union, of leaving by slamming the door, and why not, with a splendid arm of honor. I want to talk to them. First of all, I want to tell them that no, they're not stupid, crazy, or conspiratorial. It's natural when you're really unhappy somewhere. It's natural to take his hits and his slaps and look the other way. It's a reflex, a survival reflex. Perfectly human. I said this last month to Nigel Farage in London. Those who laugh of Frexit supporters don't see the suffering of Frexiteurs. This suffering exists. To deny it is to deny reality, and that's not our style. When a patriot suffers, it always calls out to Recon. Dear friends, you will hear me say it often in this campaign, because I believe and because the European political landscape shows it. There are more and more of us fighting Brussels and determined to defend our continent, its identity, its freedom, and its prosperity at all costs. Let's not be afraid. Let's not be afraid of words. Let's not be afraid of bureaucrats. Let's not be afraid of balance of power. And if we need empty chain policy for French requirements to be accepted, it will be the empty chair. In 90 days, on the evening of the European elections, if we are powerful enough, yes, it's a fact, our group will be able to swing the majority in the European Parliament. So don't blame us, dear friends, for not campaigning to leave Europe, because every day we beat to get tyranny out of Europe, to stop the Islamization of Europe, to get wokes out of Europe, and with its socialism, the disease of norms and the migration catastrophe. As I said, we know at Recon that only a free people can make a great nation. We want to build a Europe from which it is no longer necessary to get out at all costs. We want to create a Europe from which you will no longer feel the need to run away. We want to make a Europe that will make our British friends regret having left us too soon. The idea of Brexit has been very useful, my dear friends, because it has enabled us to understand the urgency of the situation. So, to the Frexiteurs, I say thank you. Say thank you with me. And let's keep everything that's good about the Frexit idea. Sovereignty, the nation, independence, the rejection of uniformity and bureaucracy. And let's leave aside anything that would put us in danger. Basically, if we sum up their ideal in one word, what do the pro-Frexit people want? They want reconquest. We tell them, welcome to our home. Today, European Union is on a tightrope. It hesitates between remaining the Europe of Aristotle and Leonardo da Vinci or becoming the daughter of ideology and bureaucracy, socialism and Islam, taxes and forms. It's leaning more and more in the wrong direction. This is precisely where voting in the European elections is a crucial act. Everyone knows it, everyone says it, everyone thinks it. Europe is moving to the right. The peoples of Europe are saying no to what is happening to them. Political parties similar to ours are coming to power or are already in power in Italy, Sweden, Holland, Denmark, Poland, and Hungary. By voting Reconquête, my friends, you'll be on the winning side. Never again. They will tell you that all you did was vote for a party that made 7%. You'll say that you voted for history, for the future, for the great wind of resistance that has blown across our continent. And that's an excellent fourth reason to choose Reconquête. This wave that's rising and will sweep away everything in France. It has a name. Just one. That name is reconquest. And reconquête, that's us. It's you. Yes, we are reconquête, so we're going to tell the Brussels Parliament all the truths it never wanted to hear. This is the fifth reason why voting for reconquête is an effective vote. We'll never be boring, we'll never be predictable, we'll never be at the mercy of silence. Imagine a European Parliament where something finally happens. That would be a change. The foreign members have become too accustomed to France saying little or nothing, or doesn't say it too loudly. But can you imagine Marion Maréchal letting herself be stepped on by Ursula? Can you imagine Guillaume Pelletier making concessions to Islamists? Can you imagine Nicolas Bay being seduced by the socialists? Can you imagine Stanislas Rigaud bowing to ecologists? And can you imagine me smoking a joint with wokes? Sorry for the inconvenience, Ursula, but the country of Cambrin, de Gaulle, and Jean Gabin is back. So, yes, dear friends, I'm telling you, we're going to talk to everyone. Because all of us here love this people, love this country, love its history and its future. We love European civilization, and we can't stand it if this beautiful Europe is replaced by technocrats, by bureaucrats, by the woke, by Macron and von der Leyen, by Sharia and by scum, by all these people and all these ideas that despise Europe and plunder France and that poison France by strangling Europe. We will defend our civilization. Because we will defend our civilization as if our lives depended on it. Because our lives depend on it. We're going to tackle everything that is bad about Europe. We're going to defend France against the European Union, and we're going to defend Europe against Islamization. We will defend our youth, who must never look down again. We will fight so that our Europe never becomes Muslim. We will give everything so that Europe remains Europe, so that Rome remains Rome, so that Athens remains Athens, so that France remains France. Marion, Guillaume, Nicolas, and all those who will carry our colors, we are all with you. We love you. We say to all Europeans who have been the genius of Europe for 25 centuries, we love you. We say to Aristotle, to Leonardo da Vinci, to Mozart. We say to the peasants, the entrepreneurs, the craftsmen, the young people who want to live free, we love you. We say to Ella and RN supporters, we love you. We say to the beauty of our continent and the beauty of our homeland, we love you. Have a beautiful and great campaign, my friends. Stand tall, be proud, be happy, stand with us. Never forget that only a free people can make a great nation. Our campaign is beginning, and it will be the most exciting and moving. Long live independence, long live freedom, long live sovereignty, long live civilization, long live Europe, long live the Republic, and above all, long live France.